We're snorting cap rates and shooting up cash flow here at Deal Junkies. Welcome back to Deal Junkies. We are back in the studio with the phenoms from Oasis Freight. We've got Vince, number 4, Polo, number 3, but we call you Junior.
Yeah.
We've got Marc Gallegos back in here, and Mike Nuss, and myself, Gabe Johansson, and a special guest today, Trevor Howard. Trevor, thanks for joining us. Where were you last episode, bro?
I got kicked off. We don't have enough mics.
Oh, they told me you're in the bathroom.
Yeah. For the last hour and 20 minutes, I was in the bathroom.
All right, guys. So we want to dig in. We're going to let Trevor take over, but we want to talk more about real estate. So I don't know if this is true or not. It sounds like Vince sort of brought real estate to the family. Is that true, or was Polo? Were you already doing some real estate stuff before Vince was?
I was doing some commercial, I think, before. I hadn't had any residential, but he did buy the first duplex. Yeah.
So, Polo, you were a real estate, like residential broker. You got your license, and then Vince, you were a wholesaler, so you never got licensed, but you did.
I got licensed in like 2020, but I didn't really.
They revoked it right away.
I mean, I helped my parents sell their condo, but
okay. So you both have dabbled in retail and a little bit of wholesale real estate as well.
Yeah.
All right. Oh. Trevor, take over.
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk about not real estate for the first time.
Oh, really?
Here. Yeah.
Well, you should have been
crazy.
here the last hour and 20 minutes.
No, I know. So the whole reason I wanted Polo and Vince to come is because you guys are good buddies with Marc, and you guys will grill him.
Yeah.
So Marc.
Marc says he's got to leave early too.
Yeah.
So you got to get in.
No, he can't go.
Pretty late.
So I need you guys to teach Marc. So Marc is the hardest worker I've ever met, right? Like, this dude doesn't even sleep. He works like 22 hours a day.
He's crazy.
But he is the most inefficient worker I have ever seen.
Dang, shots fired.
Yeah, I mean, you guys agree, right? That's why you invite him everywhere and he can't go ever, right? Because he's always like doing whatever.
Oh my god.
So he doesn't fish or play golf.
Yeah.
He just works.
Too.
And then he doesn't answer.
Yeah.
Sometimes the phone. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Where you guys like,
he's a machine.
Yeah, you guys live the life of you get all the work done. You're super productive. You're growing the businesses while spending less time and less effort, so then you can think at a higher level to keep it moving forward.
Yep.
And I need Marc to do that. So I want to talk about right now, like, how you guys learned how to do that, what you see in Marc, and how we can get Marc to pivot. Because if Marc starts working how he works now, but on those things, like, it's just insane at that point. Versus he's just, doing these little tiny things that don't matter half the time.
Well, I know Marc has talked to me about that for a year now. And I mean, I've told him, getting assistance, training, and it's a hard thing to swallow, like to commit to. And that's one thing Marc and I have talked about, is just committing to it and doing the training. It takes, 3 months to a year, but then once you have it done, you open up a time slot of your life that you'll never regret. And I think I've read a book on it that, like, if you're making $100 an hour, anything under $25 an hour of a job, you're instantly hiring that out. Don't even think about doing that job. Or if you're for 1,000, you're doing $250 an hour or less, you're hiring that out. You're not even touching that yourself. And so that's kind of, I guess, there's some things that are enjoyable. Some people love mowing the lawn, and that's their piece. That's their,
this dude built his whole pool. And
this guy did some crazy stuff.
Do you mow your own lawn?
Yeah, he does.
You do?
I do everything.
Yeah. And so there's some people that enjoy it. And if Marc enjoys it, then we can't, give him, whatever. If he enjoys it, it could be his de-stressor.
Dude, I think it makes him maximum stress, and he doesn't even know.
Yeah, I think part of it is I learned this when I got out of the mortgage business and got all in construction, because I thought I loved doing loans. It's like, this job is the best.
Yeah.
When I was done with it, within like a month, I was like, how did I do that for so long? That was hell.
Oh, yeah. And we hate brokering too, like love-hate relationship type of thing.
And having the ability to feel it is hard for me, because I don't know, maybe it was the way my dad enforced, like, you just do what you have to do. So the pain, like feeling those pain sensors or something, maybe it's just the difference. Like, I could dig holes. I could, go raise $5 million. Like, I don't know. It just feels the same to me.
Yeah.
Do you see the value in the different roles?
Sort of. Like, in certain moments I do. And I've had this comment to people all the time of like, oh, you're worth too much to do that, whatever. Like, I'll say, well, instead of watching TV, I'll do $1 an hour task. I'll drive Uber all night because it's like, what else am I going to be doing at that hour? So for me, it's like if I'm working and I have a couple minutes, I'll just bang out a couple dumb tasks. And that carries over into everything throughout the day. And that drawing the line is the hard part.
Yeah, but so Polo, you were talking about at the investor meetup one time, Marc was giving you guys crap for not working or whatever. And you made the point of like, my whole job was to build the systems so I don't have to be there. So then I can go build the next thing and like think bigger. And I think can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I was going to say, I've been training someone for like the last 8 years. I've been always training 1 or 2 or 3 people, and then they move on, to on their own in our company, and then I hire the next guy and I train them, and I hire the next guy and I train them. So I had to get used to that too. But through that, it's a little bit of having the right people. Like if you train the wrong guy for a year and then it doesn't work out, like that screws you over a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you can get a Vince, and then you get a Victor, and then you get a Ben, you train them, and they end up working out, then you can, kind of take some off your plate, do the next thing. Like, you shouldn't have those tasks on your plate to begin with.
Yeah.
Is the thing, I think. And I think that's, with the brokerage growing and exploding the way it did, we were forced to just start hiring people.
Yeah.
I came from seeing my dad do everything himself, except for driving the multiple trucks. That's impossible. Everything else he was doing himself.
That he could do. He was
Yeah.
doing it. And that's the same attitude I feel like.
But it also goes back to the same thing I was saying earlier about the Hispanic culture and the Spain type. We don't trust anybody. We can do it ourselves type of thing. What is that?
Oh, I just pulled up seven habits of highly effective people, the quadrants.
That goes back to trusting people, and it's like you have to tell yourself it's not an issue of am I rich enough to be able to do that. It's just if you can't find anything, like resting is effective. Does that make sense? Resting your mind, resting your body makes you effective in those 10 hours you're about to go out and kick ass. Does that make sense? And so
He's
the more
the more went right over his head.
What are you talking about?
I heard he sleeps 3 hours a night.
Yeah. And
I wish I could sleep 0.
You wish you could sleep 0? Is that what you said?
I hate sleep.
Like the older I get, the more I'm starting to appreciate, because you're so busy, and we're even so busy just having fun. Now I'm like, how do we just relax more and just go read the kids some books?
Too busy having fun.
Yeah, no. Ask Polo about that, and ask Polo about it. It's to a point where Rich is now being able to do nothing. Like it's weird. It's like, yeah, you have a lot of fun with the boat and the fishing and the cabin and that, but it's just like just being able to be home and just go walk outside and doing some of the simple stuff. That's like kind of
like mow the lawn.
That's like kind of coming back.
Then that's the whole rule of like you mow the lawn until you make enough money to pay someone.
Yeah.
And then you make enough money, you can mow the lawn again.
Yeah, it's like the fisherman.
It depends. It depends what you like, but it's just having the ability and the space to be able to go out and do whatever you want. Like you have a pool and a hot tub. Like you should be out there an hour a day, 30 minutes a day, just with the kids or with yourself and just enjoying. And I'm sure you saved a lot of money doing it yourself. That's another thing about Marc.
He's cheap.
He'll do anything to save a lot of money.
He'll save 3 cents. Dude, he told me he pierced his own wife's ear because he wanted to save $12, dude.
It looked pretty simple.
Some ice and a potato.
But
and a
he
needle.
just told us that he flew to Boise to buy a truck that was $8,000 cheaper than the one they had here in Seattle. Not in Portland or Salem, in Seattle. So either way, he was going to drive multiple hours. What I would have done or what Vince would have done in that situation is do that and then pay $1,200 to get it shipped here.
Exactly.
But I think Marc likes doing that stuff.
Well, here's the thing. I worked all day, flew there, drove through the night, got home, went back to work. No harm. It's like I would have watched TV in those hours.
Yeah. No, Marc. For me, I'm thinking in terms of I know you will never stop working, but the type of work that you do, I think, is the big thing. Because you have like a level 10 skill set, but you're doing level 2 tasks a lot of time. Versus these guys, like Polo does it really well, where he's getting that stuff off his plate so you can do the next thing and think a little bigger. Because I know you, with your free time, you will not stop working because you're just insane.
Sounds like an ADHD type thing where you're really just trying to fill this itch with whatever you can, and those easy tasks are the quick, like low-hanging fruit to go to.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know what I think it is? So when I was little, my dad, if I wasn't doing something, he would make me feel bad. And I don't know if that's the same situation with you, but he would see me sitting on the couch,
Me too.
16, 17 years old, and he would rip me. And ever since then, I'm like, you know, I have this thing. It's like I need to be doing something to be valuable all the time. And like that can be negative.
I've heard somebody say it in a way that really touched my life. They said we are human beings, not human doings.
Vince, I'd love to hear you unpack how you started to trust more. Like delegation, trust is a core component in that. But it sounds like you probably had a journey where you had to change yourself.
Yeah. So obviously at first it was force. My sister hired some cousins, that sort of thing. And just on a whim, training really quick, night times, whiteboard, you're going to handle this client, you're going to handle this client, this is what you're going to do, you're going to make this rate confirmation, just putting it together, A, B, C, and D. And once you kind of see the magic work a little bit, you start getting addicted to it a little bit of the process and how it could work and how it could flow. I mean, obviously, you're going to make changes. You're every month or year, you're making tweaks and changes. But sometimes it doesn't always work out. Working with family, especially, is really difficult at times. And I had some family members I was working with, and it didn't work out, so I had to make a pivot. The hard part working with family is when you all want to go have fun, who's working? You know what I mean? Who's out there, you know, on the back end? You know, I work with my dad and my sister, so when I was having fun, they're having fun. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you know, where can I get some high-value employees who are willing, you know, who can obviously stay behind, right, when I'm going out with my family or taking my time off. And that's kind of when I pivoted towards they're called near shore workers. And it's difficult. Like, you know, I tell some people about my assistants, and I would never do that. Why would you do that? Why would you trust them with your email accounts and your customers and your clients? And I'm like, you don't know what you're missing out on. I get to actually have a life because I put my trust in these people, and I pay them well, and in return, they give me their loyalty. They give me the time. They give me, you know, do a good job. And they've come to me and be like, hey, boss, I messed up. Can you take something off my paycheck? That's how much they care about their jobs. And if you make them feel important, they're going to make the business important to them. And that's the key, is you can hire all you want, but if you don't treat them right and pay them right, they're not going to give you that same level of respect. And Polo actually does a good job of this too. Is let's just say a driver pay is 25%. I'm going to pay them 30%. So then they take it upon themselves to do a good job and keep the truck clean and make sure that everything's set. So then I don't have to be dealing with the phone calls and the issues and the breakdown, that sort of thing. Is if you slightly overpay, that's actually a big deal than just overpaying a little bit. You get a lot more in return for that little overpay than you do if you're just paying the standard, if that makes sense. And so it's easier to build trust when you're paying well. And obviously, if they're not a good worker, you have to. I've also had to move on for some employees and retrain, that sort of thing. It happens. But once you get those, your team that's strong, you can move mountains because you have that trust, you have that back end. So now I'm coming to my clients and say, hey, we can track your orders, we can do whatever you need. We have 24/7 operations. I've had some of my employees at 11 o'clock give me an update on a truck delivering at Home Depot, and I have that trust in them, so I can go out, be with my kids, and know that everything's being taken care of, and I'm not stressing out of my mind, That's just it's been life-changing. Honestly, it's life-changing. When you're in an environment where it's so go, 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 customer could call you and your whole day could just get completely ruined. You can even lose a customer and there goes a fourth of your income. Like, that's the kind of stress level of our business and the clients, and we have to be there for them all the time. That's what it feels like, because how do we differentiate ourselves to other brokers? There's a million brokers out there, and how do I be better? Answer the phone. Have a team, give good rates. There's so many things that you have to be good at. You can't do that by yourself, right? And so I look at it like a towing company or any company or a service company. You can't do it. There's a point where you need to go out and have helpers. Go out as a plumber. You need to have your 4 or 5 plumbers because you can't do it all yourself. You're just gonna run yourself out of your own job, out of your own business. And so, you read all the entrepreneurs and the people on Facebook and on YouTube, and that's what they've done. Create systems. I know Marc's told me this a million times. I need to create systems. I need to create a book of standard operation, the SOPs and that sort of thing. And yeah, you don't have to put it on a book, but you can kind of get it in your mind and start implementing. And so that's what I've done, and Polo's done, and we're learning all the time. That's what's so awesome. It's like we're young, we're learning. There's no right or wrong. It's adjusting and that sort of thing. So that's kind of my experience. And I don't do big real estate deals, that sort of thing, and looking into the deals and the whole mojo like that. So I don't know how a system like that can implement in your guys' business, but I know you guys should give it a try.
Well, you're talking about relinquishing control.
Yeah.
Creating a system where you can support them for the control that you're giving them, but you're also willing to take a loss for that lack of control.
Yeah.
So in your role, what type of control can you give up? What type of control are you not happy giving up, Marc? And is it a control freak thing? Is it because you don't feel like you have the systems? Is it because you believe the loss is too much? Like, what goes through your mind when you think about giving up the control and delegating and getting leverage in what you do?
I think it's control freak for sure.
Yeah.
And, I've read the books, like Buy Back Your Time. Like, I've read everything you guys are talking about. I know these principles, but...
Oh, it's a human flaw? Is that what we...
It just takes practice,
Do you feel like it won't be done right if you don't do it?
Yeah, but then overarching is if it's done 80% as well, you need to hire it out. Like, that's what all the principles are telling you.
So you're a perfectionist.
I just haven't learned that skill yet.
What's one thing you can delegate? What's one thing you can give up?
Well, it's funny. Trevor came into my office the other day and looked at my to-do list, which I had 1,000 things done, literally 1,000 completed tasks, and I had like 30 that keep getting pushed forward. And he looks at it and he's like, you shouldn't do one of those things. And so when I think of my list, it's probably 1,000 that I shouldn't have done any of those items on. And so everything I need to figure out how to hand off. I mean, for the most part, being here, talking to people, any sort of work should probably be handed off.
When I was with Paul yesterday, and I looked at him and I said, it's amazing how little I do for how much I have going. And he's like, yeah, that's what happens when you lead a company. Like, you are there to write the checks and make executive decisions.
Exactly.
And the work part of it, if you don't have, and I'm guilty of it too. I mean, my email runs like a ticker tape, I mean, it's just like, I get anxiety sitting in this podcast studio knowing that when I step outside, I'm going to have 100 emails, right? Well, everybody keeps telling me, Gabe, you got to have somebody checking your email. It's like, and that's my control. It's like, I don't want to give that up. But if I had somebody that went through there and filtered through and dealt with 80% of what needed to be dealt with, when I got out, I could deal with the 10 emails that I need to take care of instead of all of them.
Yeah.
Because Marc, I think for you have to really believe you have a higher skill set, because you are not going to stop working. Like, you're not going to go with these dudes on their helicopter and jump out of it into the river or anything with your free time. But you're going to do like these higher level tasks, which are going to move us forward, because you're our most valuable person. You're the smartest person we have and the hardest working, but you're doing the least valuable tasks half the time.
Well, one thing I think about too is, what's the point of working hard? What's the whole point of working hard and making money? If not to release some of your time and be able to enjoy your life with your family and your kids and your friends. What's the point?
I mean, I made that comment in the last episode with Senior, is like, at any moment it could be it. And so you start to just count down the days, essentially, of thinking, like, if that's how it's going to be remembered, like, he was just grinding in the office all the time. So, I feel it, and I appreciate you guys diving in, because that's the encouragement I need, and just the lift. Like, I just need that little bit extra. So we posted a role for executive assistant, and that's the role of, I'm trying to set it up where I won't even open email anymore. They're going to open it all. They're going to log their responses. They're going to ping me when needed, and they're going to take care of that. And that alone, filtering calendar invites and all that, I think I got to make steps every day. I got to make sure that ball is moving forward in that pursuit, just a little bit every day. It's going to take time.
It takes a long time.
However old I am.
Do you guys think you're workaholics?
I don't.
I was.
I think he
I was.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, the problem is it's more of an identity thing. If I'm not working, then what am I doing? It's actually
trying to be productive.
It's an actually self-mental issue that you can't get over. That if you're not working and making money, then you're worthless. No, there's being a dad, being a husband, being a dad, being a husband, being a brother, being a mentor. There's more things. I would say the last year, I've definitely been like, dude, relax, take a deep breath, get some people on, get your stuff lined up, and go out and be what you actually set yourself to want. Actually, why you work so hard, go and do the thing you said and why you work so hard to go do, and that's to be a good human being, raise good kids, be a good husband, and be involved in church, be involved in other people's lives and make an impact. Because then you should have just gone a regular job the last 10 years,
right?
If you made all that money and you're not doing what you said you wanted to do, you should have just gone get your government job. You know what I'm saying?
Addicted to the game.
And so it's a self-psychology issue of saying, okay, I want to be humble. Don't give me that. You worked hard, you set yourself apart, you deserve to be elevated to that level to go out and get an assistant or personal assistant and help you with some of those tasks, right? And so I don't like that. But then there's, I can do it all myself to make money. Well, that's not good or productive, either. But then there's another issue of how can I line myself up with those productive tasks if I alleviate those smaller tasks? That's the other problem is let's just say Marc gets somebody to go do all those 1,000 tasks. Now what is he going to go do? That's the next problem.
Yeah, it creates an identity crisis.
That's kind of what I'm going through right now, Marc, is I was dispatching and actually being sales for the last 7-8 years. And just this March, I finally was able to release completely. And the guy that I trained, take over, made a deal where he's going to make good money. I'm still going to make some money off of that account, but I can kind of step back and try to be like Gabe a little bit. But it just makes space. And you start seeing bigger picture. The thing that I started seeing is the more people that we can just bring in, it's impossible to grow your company without more people. And I think our mistake early on was I need this person to be max productive from day one. And that's not going to happen.
Never.
So for my new theory is kind of I'm just going to bring as many good people as I can, as we can afford to salary wise and stuff. Just bring them in. And surround ourselves with the most people that we can, and just watch what happens. And we're seeing some results. Ask Vince in the last 6 months that are just getting started of just people
in a bad economy too.
And so when you, I think you said just day by day, hire an executive assistant first. Don't give up on that idea though of getting the help. Once you get used to it though, the first time. Have you had an assistant before?
No, I did have an administrator that did a lot of stuff. Okay. But this role would be so much more integrated into my personality and be able to respond on my behalf.
Yeah.
And that's going to be interesting.
Well, think about Devin even. Is he making your life easier?
Yeah. And the thing that's so fun to see is you are proficient, but not as proficient as someone that is technically built for that task. And it's
they're made for that.
They just shrunk that 40-minute task that I'm pretty good at into 20.
Oh, way better.
And it's okay, we need more of that.
Well, here's another problem is by the time you need an assistant, you need 2.
Yeah.
You actually need 2. By the time you're saying and yelling at yourself, you probably need 2.
A lot of people think that Henry Ford invented the automobile, but he invented the assembly line. And he recognized he was kind of the first well-known genius in logistics of, we're going to build a car, but one person's going to be really good at this one thing, and then it's going to go down the line, and the next person's going to do it. And I think that every company, as it grows, this is the bottleneck, is trying to figure out where those skills fit and who needs to be doing what tasks. In our company, Trevor is Henry Ford, and he's trying to figure out how we build that assembly line so that everybody is. It's really not about maximum productivity. It's about efficiency. It's about finding out what it is we're good at, what we like to do, and everybody doing the tasks that they're supposed to be, so the whole team works together.
So, and it's also, easier to look at something that you get to work towards instead of what you're giving up. So what do you have in your vision for Trevor? What do you have for Marc's elevated tasks? And is there something in that bucket of his vision that you can get really excited about?
Yeah, the cool thing about Marc is he could do anything. Like, he could be our best acquisitions person. He could be our best fundraiser. He could be the best construction guy. But if you're having the vision and you're building those systems and you're managing those people, we get to go so much further versus you just doing these low-level tasks. So I want you to do this because I get to make more money off of your hard work.
Yeah.
At some point, we name selfish Trevor. Forget Trevor GPT. It's selfish Trevor. But what are you excited about? Like, what? So you think of, you have an executive assistant. You no longer your calendar's blocked. You've got a bouncer at the door. You're not responding to emails. What gets you excited about what that can free you up to do?
Yeah, I get energy from improving things. So if I could build a framework or build this goals or KPI, sort of like where the target is, and what I realize is I used to then design it and then operate to get there. If I could just design as many of those systems as possible.
Yes. And then oversee them.
And then watch them happen and enforce.
Because then we can add the next system with your help, and then as you're overseeing the last one, rather than you doing all the work to the system.
Because you build it, then you spend whatever time to get there and work through the kinks. But if you could build 10 of those, they can all move in.
So with Oasis, who was the mastermind behind your systems? Is that a Vince and Polo thing? The two of you did it?
Yeah, a lot of input. Like, we, hey, we need this new, better software to run our paperwork. Like, we switched softwares like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Just, getting better. And then the way we route the billing, right, from the confirmation to the bill of lading to it getting billed has changed 3 or 4 times. And just stuff like that. And we've gotten a lot better. The wheels are running really good now. And, I think it's been a lot of just everyone. And that's the thing about us, too, is we invite everyone, hey, give us input.
Yeah.
We'll make the decision from there. But, like, I want you to tell me, all the employees, tell me where we can improve. I ask Beverlyn, our new sales manager, I ask her every day, like, you tell me, you're 3 months into this business, you tell me what I should be doing. What should I do today as your boss? Like, where should I put my time? Because I just want to see their perspectives. And, my perspective is old news. So that's another thing.
So how did you know? Because did you guys share how you went from like 3 to 9 to 27 in revenue?
A little bit,
yeah. So how did you even know to do those things and like start working through those and start outsourcing them? Because you came in as just a kid out of college with no business experience.
Yeah. I mean, there's natural pain points. We physically couldn't do, like, we were so busy. Our brains were fried. We had no time. It'd be like you trying to close 30 deals as a real estate agent by yourself in a week with no help. No, you need the good escrow company. If they don't do their job, you can't do your job. You need multiple assistants. You need people doing showings. You need all that stuff. So just natural pain points and then reacting and kind of doing that. And we've gotten a little bit better at, anticipating it before it's a problem now.
Did you have the vision, though, of where you could take it once you stepped in and you started seeing, like, we got to hire people and delegate?
Yeah, I think once we saw that, 200% growth, 300% growth year over year, we were like, okay, how high can we take this? But we made some mistakes.
Sure.
Being like that initial growth came so easy that we didn't think that we kind of had to spend as much time on customer acquisition and like I would call it marketing or
like the first 4 years we didn't even visit on one of our clients.
Yeah. So we had people giving us $10 million of freight a year. We never met them. And they were like, why do we need to go travel to these places when we're flooded? We don't know what to do. So once the growth kind of stopped, along with the economy, 2023 got really bad. Then it's like, hey, we need to do something different. We realized what other people were doing, started looking at the competition. And that's when we were like, okay, well, we should be visiting all of our customers at least once a year, if not twice a year. And then
we lost some of our customers because we didn't have that relationship.
Yeah. And then actually 23, 24, 25 have been in a real slump for the trucking economy. And we've grown kind of again, not at that level, but we've grown in a really flat economy.
Yeah.
Which has been cool to see. Like what we're doing is working. and that just primes us for the next.
Yeah, like we'll be ready for another good. Like 2018 was, if we had kind of the assistance and the structure we have now, we'd be doing probably 100 million at this time. So you just learn late. You know how it is. You always learn late and you adjust. But it's just like, okay, how do we not do that? Learn now, get it ready now. So when the next big hit comes, it's just like when another 2018 crisis, you guys know exactly what to do now, right? And so, just same thing like that, but in trucking.
So you guys know Marc, better than most people. What do you think Marc can do if he starts implementing some of this stuff? How would his productivity in life change if he starts working a little more like you guys?
I mean, you got the 2 little kids? 3 kids. I mean, you can never spend enough time with your kids and your wife. I don't know how. I mean, I think you're, pretty big family guy, and you probably already get some good time with them. But the more time you can buy with your kids and, I mean, for me, I value travel. We travel. I took my kids to, all over the place. I've been to a lot of countries, and, if that's not something that you value, then you're probably not going to do that. But just the more things you can do, more experiences you can show your kids.
Yeah.
Pretty much at this point, you're not living for yourself. You're living for them now. You know what I mean? And so just pouring as much as you can into them.
I don't think that's going to sell Marc. We got to sell him on how he can be more productive.
I mean, I don't know how much deal looking or land deals you're looking into, outside of Oregon, East Coast, South, Southwestern, Southeastern states. I mean, maybe you can dig deeper into other states and meet, other developers out, see if there's something potential, outside of Oregon, outside of Washington, outside of, kind of your areas you're already looking at. And if you find something big, a 200, 300 unit that you want to go in and rehab and refinance and something like that, with the operations and the smartness that you already have that you've already done here, I mean, you could go insane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think because we're trying to get to like 60,000 units, and I think it's completely reasonable for us to do, but I think you're going to be the core piece in getting there, and you freeing up your time because you are our highest value person that we have.
Yeah, I mean, you should probably be looking at 20 to 30 deals a day.
Yeah, I don't, and I think that on the family piece, like I get home at a good hour and I'm there, but at the expense of I get up earlier and earlier and earlier to do.
You want to know what Marc's schedule is? Dude, this dude starts work at 4, then he goes home at 4, and he spends his 3 hours with his kid. Then he starts emailing us, texting us from like 7 to midnight, and then he gets up at 4 again, and then starts
otherwise,
going.
I feel like Gabe said with the email, like it builds pressure, and you're just like, I have to relieve this pressure.
So you don't want to work that much. You're doing it at a necessity.
I think he wants to work that much.
I think he does too.
I like being busy and all that, like you said, like those pain, like. That's just, and Vince made a good comment too of like when you're young and your dad walks in and you're not busy, there's some serious pressure.
It's trauma, but like, some minor trauma there.
But like Polo Senior made a comment too of like, okay, we're wrapping up, we're walking out of here, we're going to carry everything, we're going to we're going to multiply everything. Every motion has like a ton of preparation and a ton of production. But so I get like voided. I'm like, I'm sitting around.
I think Trevor agrees, but he wants you to do higher level stuff all the time.
So when you're filling that time, it's a multiple.
Yeah, I mean, what is for me, our vision for for me, I need to stop being a sales guy, and my time is probably best spent visiting our customers in person, building those relationships, maybe a little bit of, not training, but like a little bit of inspiring the new people that are coming in. And, high value stuff that can make us $10 million here, $5 million here, $1 million there, not dealing with some driver that has an issue or making a Lowe's delivery appointment. So for you, what is like the peak thing you could do with your time because I don't know what you do I know you do construction, but acquisition, project planning.
On the operations side a lot. So basically setting the benchmarks of how we operate our properties and make them, productive. But I think that highest and best is getting around people that are exceeding and just pushing and then that just raises the bar of, okay, our expectations are now this. We're leading and we're following that. So when it comes to our business, like the more time I'm setting those new benchmarks and creating a system that we can achieve those, like my old framework was if I can get to 10 units, I can retire and blah, blah, blah. And now it's like we're trying to get to 60,000 units. So like that motivation, and you're just moving that goalpost, but everything else stays the same. And you're like, how crucial those tasks are if I don't have the time to do any crucial tasks, we're not going to get there. So I got to find the time to do that.
And I think you won't always know what the next thing is, but we need to get you the time, because you're not going to waste any time and you'll figure it out. But we need to free up the time for you to think on it, because even the impact you've had in the last month has been tenfold. Because it was, for the first year and a half, it was me and Dane building this thing in our bedroom, trying to get to the point where you and Gabe are on board with it. And now that we've had you thinking about it in the last month, like the ideas you've had in 30 days are just crazy, because you've been, focused on it at that point.
Well, another thing too is you can't do what you're doing forever. There's no physical way, mental way. Like, you can't do that. It's not even healthy.
You'll have a heart attack.
You know what I'm saying? It's not even healthy.
For sure. I don't feel that healthy right now. So like, I think the most joy I get
Don't want to do it.
Getting amazing people. Like, that's my number one. If I could build a team of the highest quality people, I think that's what gives me the most energy. So if I can do that, set these benchmarks, encourage people to do it. Polo said it a punch. Like, pouring out into people, that's always number one. And so I think that's
and you inspire people too. Like, people that get around you and Gabe are excited to like do these things. Like, you had 50 people apply for your executive assistant role. For our like acquisitions roles, like the level of people that are applying for that just because they want to work with you is insane. Like, we had a dude in Florida who's been doing it for like 30 years applying for that type of thing. And like you guys just get these people hyped up and like wanting to partake in the vision.
No, I appreciate you guys doing it. Talking about it. I'm gonna just keep babysitting me. I'll eventually get there.
See,
I know it's important.
No, this is the problem with Mark. He'll tell us like, I'm going to do this.
This is an intervention, Mark.
It sounds like it.
But
this is the third of
I thought we were going to talk about real estate deals. We're talking
this
about
is serious.
Mark's psyche.
We're not talking about deals and Trevor's at the table.
I wanted you guys to come in because I've been trying to tell Mark this, but I think he'll listen to you guys
for this.
No, granted, you got to give it to you. You're very successful for what you've been doing, but
your ceiling's so much higher.
When someone sees a better way,
gotta get better.
You got to change your identity.
When someone sees a better way, and not only a better, healthier way for you and your head and your mind and your life and your body, you have to at least give it a try. And then if you don't like it, just go back. But you have to slow it down, because physically and mentally you want to show up for your family, and that's when you work so hard and you can't show up emotionally for your family. It's really difficult. Yeah.
Vince, when you talked about this offshore, you're obviously using VAs.
Yes.
So you started with family. You started passing off you give up some of the control, have some trust. How'd you make that next step to trust somebody that's not even in the United States?
So I was listening to another podcast, because I like to do a lot of education and our business and our economy and the trucking life, blah, blah, blah. And I heard them in the podcast say something about virtual assistants. So I went online, did a bunch of research, saw a few companies, and I went to one and I hired two. One of them didn't work out. One of them was a guy named Carlos, who I actually have today, but he was really sick. So we had to quit. And when he was ready, I actually hired him back directly, and it kind of went on from there. The virtual assistant companies, they're good, but I don't think that they're fair as far as what they pay and the expectations of driving 2-3 hours a day. They don't even pay their bus. They don't even, it's very worker bee type situations. And so my goal is to provide a better life for them. And I said, hey, look, I'm going to pay you this much. Basically, I'm going to pay you half of what they were keeping as far as profit margins. I'm going to give it to you. And then from there,
he got so into that he started his own business.
Yeah, I actually started my own, just to kind of help the culture there and the people there. I just saw a lot of pain points, and how they live in Guatemala and that sort of thing.
That's where all your VAs are?
Yeah,
in Guatemala. So you went and visited them.
I went and visited last June, and I saw the traffic, and I saw just the craziness and the life there. And I said, if I can help, 10 people, 15 people, as many as I can. I'm not going to change the world, change the country, right? But I can make an impact where I can. And I actually reached out to that company where I went through. I actually hired one of their implementation managers So she helped me out on this business because she had the knowledge. And then I kind of stopped because I kind of felt like it was taken away from my brokering. I just didn't have the structure yet in my brokering to go out and start a new venture. And so I hired her. She's now helping me on the trucking. So I have 6 VAs right now, and they all do an amazing job. I'm going to give them all raises. They're all doing just an excellent job. They're very humble. They're very on time. They have never not been there when I need them there. I mean, yes, there's family issues, health issues. There's all the normal things. But when they're available, they are available. I can go on Discord right now and ask each of them, hey, are you there? Hey, are you there? They're all going to answer yes. And that's important because in this business, 5 minutes, you can lose a load and you can literally lose that load and there goes $600.
Do you have one main assistant that oversees your VAs?
No.
So you're overseeing
I'm
all of your
overseeing all of them, and 2 or 3 of them oversee the other ones, I guess. But not one of them.
Like a team leader.
Yeah, it's like more like a team lead, but we all kind of interchange. It's weird because all of them know how to do a little bit of everything. And I've trained them all to learn a little bit of everything. And one of them has made like a handbook. One of them's made like how to do this customer, how to make this rate confirmation for that customer. I mean, talking about doing better than what you're doing, that's like blow your socks off type stuff, you know.
Well, they have master's degrees in, from whatever university in Guatemala City, and they've worked for like professional companies, UPS or whatever,
FedEx, call center type, yeah.
So you're picking up educated people that just happen.
And they know perfect Spanish and perfect English, and half of our drivers are Mexican Spanish speaking.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
So I pivoted from, the family and that sort of thing. It was a lot, like emotionally knowing, these are my relatives, these are my cousins, blah, blah, blah. And I said, how do I like not show up to Thanksgiving, Christmas and have kind of like that? You know what I'm saying?
It's a full-on definition of bringing work home with you.
Yeah, exactly. And
reunion.
And so I said, hey, I got to find a different way. And so it's been great ever since. And there's some things like my dad still helps me. He helps me out my bigger accounts, more the touchy customers where I really want to make sure that I do a really good job. And he does a great job. And my sister does my marketing. She's doing the marketing campaigns. We're sending out little garbage cans saying, do crazy little cartoons. We're getting really creative. Like, don't throw, like, we already put it in the trash for you because, we know that you get all the broker's mail and you throw it in the trash instantly. Like, I hired I have a coach, and he sold his brokerage for millions of dollars, and he does new broker trainings, and I convinced him to train me 1v1 for, several, like, a lot per hour. And when someone says, why do you do that? Like, you're already successful. Okay, let's go back from my beginning. If I would have hired him in the beginning, how much more would I have saved in knowledge? How much more would I have grown financially than the amount I paid him? It would have been exponential. And so, having that coach, having that mentor, having somebody who's older than you, who's been there in the business, in the economic structure. He understands my life. He understands what I go through. He understands my pain points, the tough life it is, blah, blah, blah. And having that has been life-changing as well. So I think that's really helpful as far as he helps me see my future. He helps me see, okay, Vince, hey, why did you go down? Why did you go up? What does 5 years look like for you? You're at a point now in your business where you need to get that one person to oversee all your VAs or all your employees, so you can do some of the higher level stuff, blah, 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 blah. And so that's been a big part of my mind changing.
How'd you find that coach?
So he's all over YouTube. He's one of the biggest coaches in the United States when it comes to new agent, new broker, so I'm an agent. They're the brokerage. I'm an agent under that brokerage. So he does a lot of new agent sales training. And my sister took his course. And it was amazing, but because I know how valuable he is. I convinced him. He goes, I don't really do one-on-one, but I'll make an exception because you're big, and I just it's different for him. Mm-hmm. So he decided to do it. And we do a call for an hour and a half for every single month. I tell him my numbers. I tell him what I'm going through. I'm telling him my family struggles with my sister and my dad and everything. And it's nice. It's like a business counselor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can go and tell a regular counselor how your marriage is this and your kids are that and your life's that. But like when someone understands the business side of your life, it makes a big difference in how you can approach business, family, future. How do you like tackling retirement and investing and that sort of thing. So that's been great. I really appreciate it.
Mark had to leave. You won't believe it, but he has to work.
He has to go mow his lawn.
He just walked out of here to hop on a call. You and Mark played baseball together.
Yeah.
How much of your baseball life has impacted your professional life? Like hiring a coach is obviously a very like sports. It's very similar. Like you're always looking for somebody to sort of point out the things that you don't see. Did that have an impact in how you run your business?
Oh yeah, I mean, education number one and always learning. In baseball, I mean, just the curveball, slider, changeup. I mean, you got to be practicing and adjusting in this pitcher, and left-handers, right-handers, And I just feel like in baseball, you just lose, and you have a couple good wins here, and you're just always adjusting. You're adjusting your plate, your stance, your approach. You're playing third base. I would switch from third base to second base the next game, and so I was taught and learned in baseball to adjust quick, to be versatile, And then when you have that in business, that's a big key I can't say that word, differentiating factor, I guess, as an entrepreneur, to be able to just do the next thing and change your ways right quickly, so you don't go out of business, so you don't kind of just get eaten up by that next broker or by the next broker. Baseball is a mind game, and so is life, so is brokering. That's
change or die.
Yeah, literally change. And during COVID, it was kind of one of those things where we saw a lot of companies, our Shark Tank, all these things, like you had to pivot, you had to change. And I just feel like if you're not changing, you're not improving, then you're going backwards, realistically. And so I don't know, baseball, you learn the team game, you learn how to work with other people, you learn how to communicate, you learn how to take criticism. One thing about baseball is you have to be responsible for your mistakes. If you can't get that bunt down, if you didn't get that runner moved over. One thing that I can't stand is when people blame others. And in baseball, there's no one else to blame. You're the one hitting, right? And so one thing I've definitely learned in this bit, just in life, entrepreneurship, is if you can take it upon yourself to own your mistakes, you're going to be, I can pretty much guarantee that person's going to be somewhat successful, because you're not making excuses. You're not handing that lesson off. You're taking it in and you're adjusting. You're taking that lesson and you're changing to then go on and do something better and move on. And there's a lot of people, man, like I hear, like what my uncle was saying is there's people are saying, I don't want to be a carpenter because blah, blah, blah. And then they go be a chef. I don't want to be this, because they're always looking for the blame. Blame. And it's just like, you know what? I can't do that. I don't want to be like that. I got to take it. When I do mess up, when I say something wrong, when I make a mistake or talk with an attitude or whatever it is, I take it upon myself to go apologize. Take it upon myself to say, hey, you know what? I messed up, to my employees, to my customers, to God, to my wife, to my kids, blah, 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 everything like that is taking ownership. That's been a really big factor, I would say, in learning.
Go ahead.
Because if you can't take that in, if you don't learn and you don't take that in, then you're not really learning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're not taking responsibility for your own success.
Exactly.
My mentor taught me 3 rules. He said, expect nothing, blame no one, and do something. And that just comes down to the personal accountability you have for your own success. The way Trevor says is that you have to be a willing participant in your own success. So you have to realize that you are the one responsible. 100%.
Can you guys speak on some of your biggest mistakes you've made, or the biggest hard situations you've had to go through? Was yours wholesaling?
It was one property? Definitely when I signed.
Don't incriminate yourself.
Yeah, I messed up on that, and that kind of got me a little flustered. And that's literally the month after I started working for them. It was literally the month after. So I was in a new job, afraid. I lost $1,500. I didn't have a lot of money. I had to paint the house. There was a smoker in there.
This is a wholesale deal that went sideways.
Yes. And I just bought the duplex. I didn't have a lot of money, and I had to fork out the $1,500. And that was I was like, I'll never do that again. But so as far, what was your question again?
Mine was the biggest challenges. I was curious too, Polo, on what you've had to face and biggest things challenge you've messed up on and learned from.
I don't know. I think one thing business wise was just getting, you follow the growth and you don't control the expenses as good as you should because you're growing, you think that's never ending, and then next thing you know, there's a contraction and
catches up to you.
And so on a minor level, like we never got in trouble. We never actually operated on any debt in our brokerage. But, you just, let's just hire more people and more office people and more assistants and get that insurance and let's get this building and, whatever. And then things contract a little bit. And it's like, that's the first time in my career, my short career, that's happened. So it's interesting to see, like, okay, you don't always just grow the expenses when things are going good.
Did you run into the problem of, like, you had more expenses than income at that point?
At one point in 2023, yeah. Because we were making so much in 22, and you're like, you need to spend to grow, and you need to, just hire more people, and we're moving so much freight that we need the people. And then, all of a sudden, you made all these decisions off of this profit margin.
It's gone.
Yeah.
So how stressful was that at that point? Because now you have less income than expense, and you're like, okay, what do I do, and how did you solve it?
It was stressful, but the good thing is that we didn't have any operating debt. So from there, it's like, okay, I can just make less for a little bit, figure this out, clean this up, and we're okay. Like,
so you just cut personal, like, profit essentially.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, and like toys and stuff. We don't, we bought an airplane and a hangar and a helicopter, and we don't finance that kind of stuff. I know that might be against like some money principles, but for me, it's good to know that like we already earned that. We made that money. It's a sellable asset if we wanted to for the same that we bought it for. But I don't have a monthly payment. I'm not going to feel like a bonehead in, 2 years if the market crashes and we can't make the payment on the airplane. Like, that's not a feeling I want to feel. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, other challenges for sure is, not thinking you can do it all yourself, not having the employees. Same thing we've been talking about. Managing your time is really important. I think one thing, a big lesson too, the challenges is like mental, like giving your brain a break. Definitely has been like a key, and like having those hobbies outside of work, having those people outside of work, church activities, we're in music, having those things outside of work to really balance your life for sure. You need balance because if work is just like you as a human being, like we're more than just worker bees. You know what I mean?
That's why we're lucky Trevor's not a human being.
Definitely.
Robots can work all the time.
Yeah. Well, Mark's a robot then, dude. What was Mark like in college? Was he the same crazy dude like that he is now?
Yeah, he was really, really high strung, really doesn't get a lot of sleep type, doesn't eat a lot, right? Still doesn't probably eat very much. But he was always like, okay, on it. He has the energy of crazy. Like, he has a lot.
I've never met a dude like this guy.
Yeah,
he's insane.
And that's why he's at where he's at. But at some point, everything's got one thing gives if you don't, make the right decisions. But
I think for him, it's like working that hard has got him all the success, so he doesn't want to pivot what he's doing at all to get to the next level.
Yeah, because he thinks that it's going to change once he does that. He thinks, but got to give it a try, like we're telling him.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell him, so I need you guys to just keep telling him because he'll listen to you guys more. You've known him longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. We're going to wrap this one up.
Yeah, we can.
You guys have anything else you want to add? No? It's a very cool story.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we didn't get to talk about any real estate.
No,
we'll talk about that with Polo Senior.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thanks for having us, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for being on. If they want to reach out to you again, Oasis Freight. So you said it was
OFtrans.com is our company website.
OFtrans.com. If you want to reach out to these guys and learn more. It was really fun having you on the show, and thanks again for flying in. It's awesome. I took a picture, by the way, with your airplane, and everybody on Facebook thought it was my airplane. I didn't say it was my airplane.
I think it's time for you guys to get your own airplane.
I think you're right. Yeah, I've been thinking about it ever since we took that picture, but I'm just fessing up that I'm just telling everyone that was not my airplane.
Yeah.
That was these guys' airplane.
Well, he did come back like energized more than I've ever seen him energized.
You guys pump me up. You're definitely an inspiration. I love what you guys are doing. So thanks again for joining us. We'll do a follow-up episode. We'll hear more about when you guys hit 100 million. We'll have you back on the show.
Yeah.
Because you're at what, 50 million now?
Next year or something.
45
It's going to pick back up and you guys will be just primed for growth.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to Deal Junkies. We'll see you next time.